This video was created by VinylicPuma of VinylicPumaGaming.
What's going on, guys? This is VinylicPuma, and I am back with yet another mellow video today. So I want to talk a little more about Borderlands 3 and some things that I would like to see involving playable characters, classes, and just general multiplayer. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I want to see in Borderlands 3 is up to 6 to 8 player co-op, depending on how many playable classes there are. Now, while 4-player co-op is alright, something I would have liked to have seen in Borderlands 2 in the pre-sequel is 6-player co-op, as there are 6 playable classes. And I don't understand why only 4 of the 6 Vault Hunters can be deployed at any one time. If you have 6 playable classes in Borderlands 3, there should be 6-player co-op. If there are 8 playable classes, there should be 8-player co-op. If there are like 12 classes, maybe 12-player co-op. And really having the choice to play with up to 8 players might strike a good balance between playing Borderlands as a strictly single-player experience and having more of an MMO kind of experience with 8-player play. You'd also get an MMO-like experience without all of the bullshit that is associated with MMOs. For example, things like waiting in parties to form up and go fight a boss, or having always online servers, which in my opinion that would suck. So essentially, I'd just like to see more players in co-op, or have the option to have more players in co-op, and I think that would be pretty interesting. The second thing that I don't want to see is co-op focused skill trees, and the big reason for this is because in Borderlands the pre-sequel, Aurelia and to a lesser extent Claptrap had skill trees that were pretty much dedicated to co-op play. And while co-op play is great, I'd rather have 3 trees that are each viable on their own while playing single player. And particularly with Aurelia, I feel like I didn't even spec into her, I guess it's like her master and commander tree, or whatever it's called. Master and servant tree. If you are going to incorporate skills that are ideal for cooperative play, I think what you should do is just put them in an already viable skill tree, as opposed to dedicating one entire tree just to co-op play. And I think a great example of this would be Maya's Harmony tree from Borderlands 2, which features skills like Res, which allows you to revive enemies that are dying, or Elated, or Restoration, which was really useful with the Norfleet. You could fire the Norfleet at your friends, or you could just shoot regular guns at your friends and it would heal them. But at the same time, the Harmony skill tree also had a lot of really useful single-player skills, like Mind's Eye, which would improve critical hit damage, I think. Sweet Release, which if you killed an enemy that was phase-locked, I think it gave you orbs of like healing, and then Wreck, which improved your DPS while you were phase locking an enemy. And really, again, just instead of making a co-op dedicated skill tree, maybe what Gearbox could do is they could add items to the game, maybe gear and weapons that benefit from having more players in the game, as opposed to creating a skill tree that does that, because it basically is a skill point dump if you're playing by yourself. And I think what would be really cool is if you had weird things like shotguns that would add an extra pellet for each player that's in the game. And I mean, if you had 8 players in your game, you might have 8 extra pellets. Or you could have a relic that boosts magazine size by 5% for each player in the game. And really having the boosts that are associated with co-op play tied to like items, or just like 1 or 2 skills in a particular skill tree, I think that would be better than dedicating an entire skill tree like they did with Aurelia in Borderlands the pre-sequel. And the final thing that I want to talk about here is I would like to see more skill to weapon synergy. And really, aside from Wilhelm being good with lasers, Axton being good with assault rifles, and Maya being good with SMGs, I'd really like to see more skill to weapon synergy in Borderlands 3, and which we actually got less of in Borderlands the pre-sequel. And one of the things that was really cool about Borderlands 2 was how Axton could improve the damage of explosive weapons and certain unique weapons that I guess had like splash damage bonus. It was only specific ones, not all of them. Just by having a high grenade damage bonus through skills like Steady, I believe Do or Die, and then maybe Battlefront. maybe in Borderlands 3 they could do something similar. While they could basically have the grenade damage bonus skills come back and affect weapons in that same way, they could have something like Zero's velocity skill, which increases the speed of bullets, and on certain weapons, maybe from certain manufacturers like Jacobs, you would get a damage bonus. It would be a percentage damage bonus based on having a faster bullet like that. Or on a character like Krieg or Aurelia or Gage, you could have skills that improve the damage of a specific element. I believe Gage was shock, Aurelia was ice, or cryo, sorry, or Krieg was fire. And I thought that was kind of cool. And what would also be really interesting is if you had certain unique weapons that excelled on certain characters. And they kind of did this a little bit on Borderlands 2, like with Zero, the Pimpernel was really good. And then the slow hand on Krieg was really good because he could mitigate the reload speed on that a bit. And it would be really cool if you had specific unique weapons and legendary weapons that were designed for specific characters and that kind of went around those characters' skills. Anyway, guys, that's going to pretty much wrap up this video, but I do have a question for you guys. What are some things that you'd like to see in Borderlands 3? Maybe some new elemental weapon types? A creation kit tool for modding on PC, which is something that I definitely want, or maybe some new game mechanics. Maybe they could expand butt slams in some way. While I haven't gone over it yet, I like to talk about more modding for Borderlands 3, as I've got some ideas, and I think it'd be pretty cool to share. Maybe you'll see it in a future episode. We'll see. As always, again, take care, and I'll see y'all next time.